Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm bringing you another beautiful tutorial on my gorgeous client, so stay tuned as we proceed. So I already cleansed her face. Right now I'm using my Cetaphil face moisturizer to moisturize her face.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight.
So next I'm using my milk of magnesia to prime her face.
Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby. And twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna over.
So moving on to foundation, I'll be mixing these two shades of foundation. This is Avour 35 and zikel 030. So I'm just gonna mix the two shades and apply it on her face using my flat brush.
You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight.
So I'm done applying the foundation. I'm going to be spraying her face using my Kiss Beauty Fix Spray.
Oh, but I don't wanna.
So next I'm using my beauty sponge to blend in the foundation on her face.
My time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak just my mind. Oh,
So I'm done blending the foundation. I'm going to be contouring her face using this Avour foundation in the shade 35.
baby, you give me ice and fire. You're chilling window.
So moving on to blush, I'm using my Champion Creation cream blush. I'm using the red shade here to blush her cheeks.
You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire.
So to highlight her face, I'm using my LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn. I'm just gonna use it to highlight her face.
Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry.
So I'm done applying the concealer on her face. Right now I'm using my beauty sponge to blend in the concealer on the highlighted area. So I'm done blending the concealer. I'm going to be setting her face using my Merak setting powder in the shade Cinnamon. So I'm just using this brush to set the areas I highlighted. So moving on to powder, I'll be using my Adventure Oil Control Powder palette. So I'm just going to be using her powder shade to powder her face. So next I'll be using the same powder palette. I'm just going to use this shade here to contour her nose. So I went back using my powder brush to apply more powder on her face. So next I'm using my powder brush to blend the areas underneath her eyes. after that, I also went back using that powder brush to blend the rest of her face. So next, I used my Kiss Beauty Fix Spray to set her face. So I'm just gonna let her face dry a little. Right now I'm baking her face using the same setting powder I used in setting her face. So moving on to her brows, I'll be applying this brow balm on her brows just to lay the hair nicely using my spoolie brush. Next, I'll be using my Karite gel liner and my angled brush to outline her brows. So I'm done with the outline. I'm going to be highlighting her brows using the same concealer I used in highlighting her face, which is LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn. So to highlight her brow bone area, I used LA Girl Concealer in the shade Medium Beige. So next, I'm using my blending brush to blend the concealer on the highlighted area. So to highlight the top of her brows, I'm using her foundation shade to highlight the top of her brows. So next, I'm going to be setting the concealer using this shade from the same Adventure powder palette. So I'm just going to set the areas I highlighted. So moving on to primer, I'm using my House of Tara eye primer to prime her lid. So moving on to eyeshadow, I'll be using my Kylie eyeshadow palette. I'm just going to use this color there on her lid. So next, I will be using my Zaron eyeshadow palette. I'm just going to mix this shade here and this brown shade. Then I'll just apply it on the outer corner of her lid by So I went back using my Kylie eyeshadow, so I'm just gonna apply more on her lid by blending it properly. So next, I will be using this orange color from MK Pigment. I'm just gonna use my brush to place it on her lid. So next, I will be mixing this brown shade and this dark shade from the same Kylie eyeshadow palette. So I'm just gonna use my brush to darken her lid. So next, I'm using my Karite gel liner to line her lid. the same gel liner on her waterline. So moving on to mascara, I'll be using my Zaron mascara to darken her natural lashes. So next, I'm just gonna powder her face using my Adventure Oil Control Powder palette. So I'm just gonna use this shade to powder her face. So next, I used my small blending brush to dust out the excess powder underneath her eyes. So next, I went back using my contour brush to blend the contour area. So I went back using my powder brush to blend the rest of her face. So moving on to blush, I will be using my House of Tara blush palette to blush her cheeks. So next, I'm wearing her lashes from Wynk lashes. So I'm done wearing her lashes. I'm going to be spraying her face using my Kiss Beauty Fix Spray. So next thing, I let her face dry. Right now I'm using my maivels glow dust to highlight her face. So I went back using my powder brush to blend the areas I highlighted. So moving on to her lip, I'm using my Blossom lip palette. So I'm just gonna use this brown shade here to line her lip. So next, I'll be using this peach color in the middle just to brighten up the lip. So next, I'm using my Zaron mascara on her lower lashes. So next, I added a little lip gloss on her lips. So next, I applied some TM Essential Cheek Glaze on the highlighted area just to make her face glow. So lastly, I'm using my Kiss Beauty Fix Spray to set her face. Then I let her face dry. So here comes the final look, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please like my video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn on your post notification button, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys, thank you all for watching.